In our school, we have taken a two-pronged approach. So looking at quick modifications we can make to our existing assessments to ensure validity of the assessments in the short term. And in parallel, we are also looking at restructuring our approach to assessment as a more long-term solution that is also sustainable. In terms of the short-term fixes, we got together with our course conveners for the upcoming term and worked through a process that you will see on the screen and will also be available to download as a template. We first looked at the existing assessments in our courses and determined the level of AI vulnerability of each assessment. This helped us to identify the assessments that needed modifications to either to the task itself or how the assessment was conducted. For example, would we need to run an exam in an invigilated setting? We then considered the possible quick changes that we could make. For example, could we get the students to use AI tools when completing the assessment without risking the validity of the assessment? During this process, we were mindful of real-life scenarios where the students might be completing a similar task and to what level of AI technologies could actually be helpful. There are many examples of ways in which AI can be incorporated into assessment in a meaningful way, so it was really helpful to look at some of these examples as well. Throughout this whole process, we kept referring back to the CLOs the assessments should be designed for to make sure the alignment is not disrupted. We scheduled this revision process quite in advance so that the courses that would need to make significant changes to course information, such as modifying the course learning outcomes, would then have enough time to get those changes approved in Eclipse before the course information is transferred over to eCourse, the course outline system at UNSW. After considering the possible modifications to assessments more broadly, we then thought more carefully about the level of permitted use of AI for each assessment that would best suit each task. As you know, we are now required to specify this in eCourse, and the process of thinking also encouraged us to consider very carefully the assessment design and also think about the specific details. Once we were happy with the ideas, we then set out to write the detailed assessment descriptions and information for the students, and this included revising assessment criteria and rubrics where it was necessary, and also specifying exactly how AI technologies were permitted when completing the task in detail. I think it really depends on the assessment task and what outcomes or competencies the task is designed to assess. So it's a difficult question to answer, but I think in general, incorporating some level of AI use, perhaps 3 and 4 in our discipline, can be helpful to the students so that they get an opportunity to develop some essential AI literacies for themselves. And it also creates a space for us to help them develop these skills and navigate the space while maintaining integrity of assessments. Making the assessment about something that is very specific could be a specific case study, for example, or a scenario or a practical that the students would have come across in the course and might require them to reflect on their personal experience, because that could be something AI can't do easily. Putting more weight on the process and assessing how the students approach a task rather than the output is another modification. I'd say marking or organizing marking. The more authentic we make a task, the more open-ended it's going to be, and as we know, this type of submissions take a lot longer to mark compared to a task that is more structured. If you can have tutors to help with marking, then it is important to make sure that they understand the task and expectations well enough to make independent judgments and to be able to give good feedback, because writing a marking guide in a scenario like this, as you know, is going to be very tricky. So that will be something to keep in mind as you design assessments. Consider things like who will be doing the marking, how might you manage the group of markers to make sure it's consistent but is also time efficient.